Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval Creed. Today we will be reviewing the second set of torpedoes for Neptune, or as I've renamed the sister ship, Albemarle. Similar to Edinburgh, this is mainly a gun and AA focused ship. However, she does have quite a few torpedoes per side, that being 8 torpedoes per side, so she can be quite good when focused with torpedoes as well, or at least use them in a more supportive role. You can even use them offensively versus where Sheffield was pretty much defensively. Alright, so I do have her focus for AA defense, but the ship can be good with accuracy. No, and she can equip secondaries, which is fine because she's not a good secondary ship anyways. Alright, so the torpedoes. The first ones we reviewed did 13,600 damage, 9.6 kilometer range. They have a speed of 64 knots, a rate of fire of 0.67 rounds a minute, detectability range of 1.3 kilometers, and a torpedo flood chance of 120.39%. And these are going to be the best option all in all. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. The only thing that these torpedoes have that the second set does not is better range. So you get 13.7 kilometer range, but only do 10,200 damage at a speed of 54 knots and 0.56 rounds a minute, 1.3 detectability range, and 90.29% torpedo flood chance. If you look at what the second set offers, you get more damage, more speed, better rate of fire, better flood chance by quite a considerable margin, and you only lose 4.1 kilometers, and you can still increase that from the 9.6. I don't know if I have any extensions to that. Let me see. Nope, I don't have any extensions, but you can extend that out to probably at least 10 kilometers, give or take a couple hundred meters. These are definitely going to be the better options considering the better rate of fire, the faster torpedoes, and the increased damage and flood chance. And honestly, the 4.1 kilometers is not much of a difference, and you don't really need to be shooting out to 13.7 kilometers with your torpedoes that go pretty slow and don't do that much damage. But it is an option if you would like to play it that way. I do believe you may be able to stealth fire in that regards. Well, 10.8 kilometers concealment. This is not fully concealed, mind you. So yes, you would be able to stealth torpedo with the 13.7 kilometer torpedoes, and if you extend the torpedo range and add the concealment crew skill, you might be able to stealth torpedo with the second set of torpedoes as well, if that is what you prefer. But you can definitely do it at least with these ones. But honestly, I'm not a really big stealth torpedo with cruisers. That's something that is more fit for destroyer gameplay. But let's toss her into the game and see what we can do. Alright, here ourselves a game, 2 battleships, quite a few cruisers, and only 1 destroyer. So this will be a very, very good game for us since our rapid firing armor piercing shells can do quite a bit on enemy cruisers. Alright, so I do have health buffs and speed buffs applied. Let's see how our torpedo angles are. Pretty decent. I don't think they're as good as Edinburgh's, or even to an extent Belfast's as well, but I'm not going to complain about those at all. And let's start moving and see what targets we can take down first. So at a minute and a minute 30 reload for your torpedoes, and the cool thing about these torpedoes is that, let me see if I can actually get a good look on. Oh, here we go. So you have 8 torpedo tubes per each side, but each are kind of separated into 2 twin launchers. So you can fire 2 torpedoes from one mount and then launch the next 2 in a different direction, and you can do that with the second mount as well. So that's why you see 8 torpedo mounts on here when there's only really 4 on the ship. This kind of follows the single launch torpedo logic. Well, you can still shoot them wide considering you have 2 torpedoes now, but you can't launch all 4 of them at the same time unless you fire a full salvo. Alright, so we have the enemy Albemarle out there, but I'm going to switch over to high explosive and see if we can work on this destroyer a bit. with our 4.1 second reloading main guns, we can definitely put a lot of shells downrange relatively quickly. And we already have a double fire, and in 2 salvos, the ship is sunk. Now I do not have... Actually, hold on, I'm going to run some torch down here, maybe get some hits. I do not have the MAP long fused high explosive or armor piercing shells like Edinburgh can get, so I cannot go through the nose on these cruisers, but I can still spam high explosive quite contently. It looks like even our secondaries are opening up. Let's see, can we get any torpedo hits? I think we might. We got one. Is there going to be any follow-up damage? Oh, I think we're going to get 2? Oh wow, she barely managed to dodge that. Can we get any on the Iodo? Maybe 1 if she turns? I'm not going to complain. That was actually still pretty decent. I'm going to switch over to armor piercing. And just try and get some citadels. And there we go, ship sunk. Awesome. Alright, so let's move on. And though our torpedoes are almost reloaded, we can try and get some more damage. I don't think it's going to work. So we're actually going to turn around here and head back to the northeast to try and get some damage on the remaining cruisers and battleships, which I'm actually technically already in range of. So let's see what we can do from here. I don't know if armor piercing is the best shell to use right now. I could use high explosive, but on this kind of broadside, it's actually working pretty decently. Neptune is a very good spammer, whether it be armor piercing or high explosive, and your shell velocity is pretty decent, so you can kind of be a little bit better than the Americans. I don't know how the rate of fire differs between the two, but these shells feel faster at least. Alright, so let's switch back to high explosive. Technically, both of these battleships are in torpedo range, believe it or not. Oh, we got a citadel. Nice. However, your chances of actually hitting said battleships at this kind of range is negligible, honestly. Both of them are fast maneuvering, and they can easily just escape your range as well. They're just barely in it. That North Carolina has to go only 700 meters, and she's out of any kind of threat to herself. I still think, yep, there's a couple cruisers still over here. I don't have a spotter plane anymore like I did on Edinburgh, so I can't see them. But we can still dish out some damage to these battleships in the form of high explosive, while we kind of run them down with our torpedoes if we need them. I do have a smoke screen and I have a heal. However, it is a super heal, meaning that I can heal quite a substantial amount of my ship after taking a certain amount of, well, not really a certain amount of damage. I can use it whenever I want to, but it's best used when you really need it. And I'd like to fire torpedoes, however my Helena on that side is going to get in the way of it, so I don't think I can. And we were able to citadel Helena through the nose. That's interesting. Alright, regardless, we're going to rush down the battleships with our torpedoes anyways. Better range or not, it doesn't help us if we can't actually hit them. Yeah, see, my Helena is already in the behind them, and she would have probably been nailed by that. But that doesn't matter, we can still do some pretty decent damage with our high explosive shells, focusing on the Helena first. Don't know where those battleships are going now. We are taking some pretty substantial secondary damage from these battleships. So we're going to pop a heal. And we're going to get in just a little bit closer. Because if I miss these, then it's game over pretty much. Okay, so let's launch all of those torps there and see what that does. And we're going to try and dance around these 16-inch shells that are going to come our way. Wow, we managed to miss with our torpedoes. So even after waiting for that long, we still missed. Alright. Then we'll just have to switch to armor piercing then. And hopefully survive long enough to use it. Let's launch our torps back that way for the rich loot. This time we will not miss. I'll put the fire out. There we go. Armor piercing. You can see how much I can actually heal if I'm able to. I don't think I'll be able to. Wow, we're at less than 400 health. Yeah, we were setting fire, but we almost sank that ship. She's gonna go down to fires. Oh, hey, we got her too. How did we set a fire? Maybe it was our second. No, I don't know. We'll see. All right, so let's see how we did. 172,000 damage, 6 ships sunk, 235 shell hits, 6 torpedo hits, 2 aircraft shot down, 6 citadels, 4 fires, 2 floodings, 78 secondary hits for 6,200 base XP. 112,000 damage was the main battery, 51,000 being from high explosive, and 60,000 being from armor piercing. 9,800 damage from fires, and 3,600 damage from secondary battery. 46,000 damage from torpedoes. So you can kind of see how you can use your torpedoes way more offensively than any of the previous torpedoes on British cruisers. However, you still are a British cruiser and you don't have armor. Maximum of only 4 inches. So as you can see there, I did melt quite quickly to North Carolina secondaries of all things, which are not necessarily known for being potent, but you can still do quite a bit of damage in the ship. You can stay at range and use your high explosive and armor piercing with your good shell velocity, which is 768 meters per second. That was pretty fast. I don't know what it is on Fargo, which is the most similar American ship to her, I would say. Well, it's faster in armor piercing shell velocity, but not in high explosive. Alright, regardless, Neptune is still a really good ship. She can stay at range and use her main guns, or she can rush in and use her torpedoes. And if you're doing a ton of damage for your torpedoes each time, then that quickly adds up. So I will be using the second set because I honestly feel that this is way better. You really don't need 13 plus kilometers of torpedo range, and you get so much more benefits to this. You have more damage, faster speed, better rate of fire, better flood chance. To me, there's no choice or to take the other one at all. So with that, I will wrap up today's video. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and join me tomorrow while we go over the second set of torpedoes for Minotaur. So again, thank you and take care.